First of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
G'day, I'm Matt Hearn. The way our global leaders are talking right now, I'm really concerned that they're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy and talking us into a deep, prolonged recession. See, I've met and talked to people for whom nothing has actually changed, except their perception. By reacting out of fear, they risk creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. That is why the words of Franklin Roosevelt, former President of the United States, are so relevant to us right now. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. So what we want to do is give fear the flick. And there's a more personal reason why we want to give fear the flick. Because financial stress impacts upon relationships. And what we know from research conducted by Relationships Australia is that financial stress is the second largest contributor to relationship stress. Now, we don't want unnecessary financial stress creating unnecessary relationship stress, because relationships are one of the most joyful and valuable part of life. They're also absolutely important that our relationships are rock solid just in case something doesn't go right for us. So we want to give fear the flick. So how do you give fear the flick and be confident that you'll survive? Because after all, you probably will survive. In the midst of the Great Depression of the 1930s, unemployment in Australia hit 20%. Now that sounds pretty bad, but let's flip it. 20% unemployment means 80% of people retained a job and had income coming into their household. So it's quite likely that you will too retain a job and keep income coming into your household. But here's the three factors that you can check off just to make sure that you are confident that you will survive, and so that you can be confident and get rid of that stress out of your life. The first factor is, do you have enough income to cover your basic commitments? Now, of course, if you've retained your job, or in your household both you and your partner have retained your job, then yep, nothing will have changed and you will survive. Maybe one of you may lose your job, but if the other person's income does cover your basic commitments, then you will survive. Which leads us to point number two, or factor number two. You need to know what your basic commitments are. That means you need to know what you're spending, what your basic commitments are, plus what your needs are. Not just the needs, but what are the basic version of the needs and the luxury version. Because maybe you can reduce the luxury down a little bit to survive. And so therefore you reduce how much income you need to come in the household to survive. Which leads to the third factor. Perhaps one income in your household doesn't cover your basic commitments and your immediate needs. So what you'll need is access to liquid savings. Now, the most common one may be cash that you've saved up sitting in a bank account, but it's not the only one. Maybe you've putting all your surplus income in the past as extra payments off your mortgage, so it's sitting there as access to what's called mortgage redraw. Or maybe it's been sitting in an offset account, like a mortgage offset account, reducing your loan interest. That's still liquid savings that you can access. Now, ordinarily you wouldn't want to take that sort of money out, but that's how you can feel confident that you will survive, is if you've got that money there. So if you have those three factors in place, then relax and enjoy life. You will survive. If you have a gap in those three factors, then you need to act right now. Maybe it's as simple as tracking your expenses, tracking what you're spending your money on every single day. You don't have to do this for the rest of your life. You just need to increase some information, because information is powerful. It reduces your stress and puts the control and power back in your hand. So maybe that's all you need to do, is know what your basic commitments are. Know where your money goes. Know how much income you need coming in your house to survive. Or maybe you just need to increase your liquid savings. Maybe you've got plenty of equity in your house that you haven't tapped. And if you've still got two incomes in your household, or just your income, maybe the bank will lend against your home and put in place what's called a line of credit. Now, please be clear, I am absolutely not suggesting that you draw down on that line of credit if you've still got plenty of income coming into your household, but it's there as your backup plan to give you the confidence that you will survive. Maybe the other gap that you need to fill is to secure your income. Make sure that you do keep your job by being the most valuable person at your company. Or maybe if your company can't keep you, even no matter how valuable you are, maybe someone in your industry will snap you up just like that because you are so valuable. If you'd like some help on how to learn more about those 3 factors that will help you survive, or help on maybe plugging the gaps and getting those in place, please visit my website, www.redundancy-advice.com.au. On that website, you'll find some help on how to plug those gaps. But if you do lose your job or know someone who's lost their job, there's also some free resources there to help you prepare for or act if you are made redundant. So let's be confident that we will survive the recession, and let's give fear the flick.